and I'm going to hopefully not cry, but I looked up at the sky and I said, God, I have nothing left. And that's when it dawned on me, this is for my dad.
It keeps you going. It's overwhelming.
Whoa.
It's overwhelming.
I said, no way. I'm going to do this. Going all the way. This one's for you, Dad. And I finished. I was dog slow. I finished. But when I crossed...
It doesn't matter how slow.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter.
I did it.
It's your pace. It's
right.
your race.
That's it.
It's your race.
Yes.
That's the way I like to think about these things. This is our personal individual race.
You know, that's the truth, and that's the beauty about running.
I mean, and I certainly can't speak for anybody, but, you know, that's the way I would run. You know, this is my race.
Yes.
This is the way I'm going to do it, you know. Hopefully there's still a race going on when I finish, you know.
Well, yeah, you know. I always joke that
awesome.
I try to meet...
That's an awesome feeling.
It is. I always joke that I try to beat the meat truck, because... if you don't do it in a certain time, they have a sweeper. The meat wagon's not going to get me. And actually, in Jerusalem, it got me. Well, there was no meat wagon, thank God. They were polite enough to blockade. I couldn't finish the marathon a couple of years ago. They have a 13-minute mile limit, and I hurt myself, and I was sick the day before the marathon. And they barricaded it off, and they made me finish at 18 miles. And they even gave me a finisher medal. They were very polite. But
awesome.
there's usually a sweeper,
awesome.
and I was like, no sweeper.
That's
but
awesome.
Anyway, the reason I bring this up and Running on Love came to me as I realized I wasn't running on Gatorade or whatever you eat. You have to eat when you're running.
Absolutely.
And it's very hard to eat when you're
hydrate.
that tired.
It's hard to eat when you're nauseous and you're starting. When your body's overheated.
Exactly.
But you must hydrate with water,
yes.
obviously.
Yes.
So
anyway, I just finish on that note.
Here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
While you were running,
this
came to you.
Running on Love. That's what I was going to say. Is that while I was so exhausted, and then I looked up at the sky, I realized I'm running on love. And then when I finished, I cried.
Awesome.
I was exuberant. I was on cloud 9, and I have a marketing company. And much to the chagrin of my staff, I became obsessed. And I signed up for another marathon to honor someone else. My mother-in-law and father-in-law had passed away. So I decided to run the Marine Corps Marathon in their memory. And that was the second one. And I got addicted. And I had my staff build me and created this logo, Running on Love, and a website so that I could get this passion out of me. I just couldn't stop. And I ran 4 marathons in 18 months and suffered a stress fracture in my left knee because I overtrained.
Wow.
I was just so addicted. But that's the period of time.
Passion.
The passion.
The
I was
passion.
so...
You can't stop it.
No, I couldn't
even
stop.
If you couldn't. You know,
No.
there was just nothing in your way.
I didn't want to stop.
Or anything in your way. You were just jumping hurdles.
I was looking for people to run on Love for. Who died? Who needs me? That's what I literally, you know. So, but then I had to take a break.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
I got a fractured knee, and I took a break. And that's when, you read on my website, I had been losing my hearing since 2001. And I remember it was 2001 because 9/11 had happened. And I remember watching the news, and at that time I was running from doctor to doctor. Why am I losing my hearing? But it wasn't that bad in the beginning. It was just bad enough that I noticed something was wrong. But by the time that I was taking a break from running marathons, my ear shut off this ear. And I thought, oh, no, I'm going deaf. And actually the audiologist confirmed. She said, Lori, hearing aids aren't going to do you any good. I'm sorry, but you need to see an otologist. You need to see an expert who does cochlear implants. And mind you, I had been told by one of these experts that you never want a cochlear implant. It's not real hearing. God forbid, he made it sound like my life would be over. And when she told me this, I had that memory in my head, and I thought, I'm going deaf. My life is over. Cochlear implant? That's not an answer. And I thought about it, and I crumbled. I just got so upset. And I thought...
Was it the fear, Lori? Fear?
I'll tell you what the fear was. The fear was not of being deaf, but what that meant to my life. I was the owner of a marketing company. It was my company, and everybody always said, Lori, the company is you, and you are the company, and it was a small company. If we ever took you out of the company, there's no company. And I thought, God, you're making me deaf, and I'm in sales and marketing. I make a living on listening to people, and you're taking my ears away. Why? And then, are you a fan? Do you know who Dr. Dyer is? Wayne Dyer?
I do, yes.
I love him.
Absolutely.
My former husband used to say, I share my bed with Dr. Dyer. Because every night I would read some of his, who knew? Dr. Dyer, maybe one day he'll find that out. But
he's going to love that.
Yes.
Let's see how
if he ever finds that out, that means I've succeeded.
Let's see how quickly this is going to get to his ears, this conversation.
So. I hope so, right? That's good for us.
Absolutely.
So, he said in one of his books, and it stuck with me, sometimes things stick with you, and he said, when you squeeze an orange, what do you get?
Orange juice.
There you go.
You get some great juice.
Juice.
Organic.
Yes. And he said, because that's all that's inside. So when you squeeze a human being, what do you get? You get what's inside.
That's right.
And whenever I've been squeezed in my life, my automatic reaction, like breathing, is, God, prayer. Please help me. So, and Running on Love was an outgrowth of that, because I realized that this should be a charity. And right at that moment, there's more to this story that one day I will tell everybody. There's always more. But for today, my brother had come to me. There was a man who was losing his daughter in a battle with a rare form of bone cancer. And when I heard that, and he's a father of 6 children, and he was suffering financially. And at that moment, I realized it's time. And I filed for 501c3 status, and within a few months, I got approved. And I coerced 6 friends to run the half marathon in Philadelphia in November of 2009. Yes. 2009. We had just gotten approved for nonprofit status.
Beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, the timing of it all.
The timing.
The timing is absolutely incredible.
Yes. And we gave the family that at Christmas time, around $4,500. I don't remember. The number doesn't matter. Thousands of dollars. We were able to give this family to help them during a terrible time, and eventually their daughter did pass away. It's just terrible. But my realization when I was running all those marathons was, who's raising money for these little causes or people who really need? And because there's armies. The American Cancer Society.
That's not out in the forefront.
Yeah.
That's not in the mainstream.
Right. It's not mainstream. There's a lot of little charities that are doing beautiful work, and they don't get, all million people walking for the Avon Walk. And I'm not putting that down. Believe me, I support the big ones, but what about the little ones too? And that's where Running on Love came from is, well, first of all, it's a metaphor. We run on love, and it's about love, and that's the focus. But you can choose your own charity. Choose a big one.
That's what's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Is that you give people a choice.
Yes.
You give them a choice.
Exactly.
And,
it's American.
I think